What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Driving across Ohio. It's kind of rainy and nasty. Sorry, road's bumpy in a few spots. But wanted to make a video today to kind of bridge the gap between the stock stuff and the van life stuff, and talk about a little more in depth about the van life thing. And if you're just finding the channel, please hit that subscribe button, like the video. You guys leave me some feedback below. So, obviously this whole journey has been about like me having a little bit of a freak out moment after a breakup nearly 4 years ago now. And about 2 years ago I really started thinking about what my future was going to look like, which is something I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to throughout my lifetime. And in the beginning, the right thing to do seemed to be to save up a bunch of money to like buy a house or start a business, something like that. And then I kind of moved towards investing toward that. And in that time period, which was 2021, the stock market was a very different animal than it is right now. And everything was just up and up and up all the time. And I knew that wasn't going to be permanent. And I talked about that in my earlier videos. And I've, over the last couple of years, talked about a lot of different ideas about starting businesses and, about all kinds of different ideas. And at a certain point, I started veering towards this freedom concept that I've talked about before. And trying to figure out a way to eke out some kind of a happy, joyous existence. And the more I've thought about it, the more I have thought that I need to do that sooner rather than later, because later is not guaranteed. My health is not the best, with the type 2 diabetes and stuff. And, so there's no guarantee that I even have a 65, much less one that I'm healthy and able to actually enjoy life. I mean, I'm not super healthy now. I got problems with my feet and stuff. So anyway, that idea swirled around in my head, doing tons of research, and it went between like getting an RV and buying a property in Arizona and doing a homesteading thing, and then it was like getting an RV maybe, and then I found these people building out cargo trailers to make them into a travel trailer. And the whole time the van life thing was kind of in the back of my head. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I had fantasies about disappearing into the woods and living off the land and shit like that. You know what I mean? My dad used to get these Cabela's catalog with all this camping stuff in them, and I used to go through those and add up how much it would cost me and all kinds of stuff. And that was when I was a little kid. So I've always had this kind of vein of trying to find some kind of a free existence. And don't get me wrong, I'm not some crazy prepper, conspiracy theorist type or anything like that. But, this van life thing is really what I feel like I've settled on. Because it's going to allow me to be mobile. So, I can do it for a year, come back, park the van, drive a truck for a year and save up a bunch more money, go back out for a year. Hell, I could even do like 6 months and 6 months or something. I don't know how it's going to manifest. It would be fantastic if I could grow a YouTube channel, and between that one and my other one, make enough to survive on. But the reality is that's probably not going to happen. So right now, since I've decided that this is probably what I'm going to do, and the stock market is not doing real well, I've started to stack money. I'm stacking it in a high yield savings account. I started after I healed up from my teeth and got back out on the road, I started stacking money. All right. So basically, December, January, February, or November, December, January, February, my goal has been to stack $2,000 per month. All right. I have hit that. I have not hit the second thousand for this month, but we're up to $7,000 in this savings account. And that's without cashing out stocks or any of that kind of stuff. That's just me saving. Now, you know, I've talked just kind of briefly about this plan. But since I'm thinking about doing that content here, I wanted to go a little bit more in depth in a video. So as of right now, the plan is that when I hit 15,000, I'm going to start looking for what van I'm going to buy and build out. Now, there are different ways that this might occur. Used car prices, you guys track the stock market, used car prices they're coming down. So if I'm able to get something for that price range that I don't have to do a lot of work to, then I may do that, because I really would like to have a Dodge ProMaster. Just the size of them and stuff is really what I would like. But I'd also like to have something that I know the history of, that I know what's been done to it, how it was treated, or what something, you know what I mean? So I'm also thinking, and this is the direction that I'm veering in, guys, is to buy something like somewhere between 95 and 2,000 van that like has a good body and not a lot of rust, and high miles, something that I can get in that $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 range. Then what I'll do is take the rest of that 15,000 and put a new engine, transmission, alternator, starter, battery, everything I can change out on it, so that I basically more or less have a van that's in good shape with a brand new engine and transmission, and a lot of brand new parts surrounding that engine and transmission. And that is the way I'm leaning, because if I do that, then I know for sure that I'm not going to have an engine or a transmission failure. And I know for certain that the more expensive parts surrounding the engine are not going to fail on me. So therefore, whatever mechanical problems I might have while I'm out on the road will not be $5,000 problems. So it's not set in stone exactly how I'm going to do it. I may even buy an actual RV, a van with a camper on the back of it or something like that, if I could find the right deal. So I'm keeping my options open as far as that's concerned. And then ultimately what will end up happening once I get this vehicle is that I will then outfit it with solar panels and battery banks and inverters, and try to make it as self-sufficient as possible, so that I can just go park it out in the desert and have air conditioning and all that stuff, you know what I mean, with no power hookups or anything. And I have done extensive research about how to make this work. And a lot of people think that you can't run an air conditioner on solar. I am going to prove that wrong. It's all it is a math problem. How much do you need versus how much do you have? So on the VanLife channel that I started, I've made pretty information intensive videos about how that works and how I'm going to make it happen. And I may make some of those here as well if I decide to fully transition the VanLife stuff over to here. you guys let me know in the comments if that's interesting to you. I know that the people are here, at least right now, aren't interested in all the van life stuff, but I have a lot of knowledge about building, and building out a van, and I have done extensive research and have quite a bit of knowledge about all this solar stuff and, a lot of other topics surrounding that. And, I want to share them out there. So the idea is to do that, to buy this van, get it outfitted with solar, built out on the inside, similar to what a big truck would be, a bed and, entertainment and the way to cook food and stuff. And I don't think it's going to be that difficult due to my, background in driving a truck and living in a truck. Like, I already kind of have an idea of the things I need to make that happen. And living in such a small space as this, which is smaller than a van, means that once I do this, I'll actually have more space than I have now, and I'll be able to have a little bit more luxury than I have now. So once I get all this accomplished and I've gotten the vehicle and I've at least mostly built it out, like the next thing is to save. So I figure for around 25 grand, that's 20 grand and a $5,000 emergency fund, basically, for if the van breaks down and stuff like that. I think I can live for a year on that. Now that means certain things are going to change in my life. It means that, I'm going to cut down my bills a little more. My kids are going to have to start paying for her cell phone. I'm about to, I don't want to just say I'm going to quit smoking, because I may fail at it, but I'm going to try. I've ordered a bunch of vape stuff, and I'm going to attempt to get off cigarettes, because that is a very expensive habit, especially for me, because I smoke a lot. Like, a lot. And so this process over that second year, I've got about 6 months left until I'm in that final stretch, or that final year, which will be saving, acquiring things that I need, and trying to come up with that 25 grand. The deadline that I've set for myself is to be ready to take off and have a big savings, enough to take a year off by my birthday in 2024. So that is not this coming August, but the next August. And at that time, I may work out the summer and start in the winter. Get myself a little bit more savings than that, and I'd like to start out in the winter, preferably. And then I'm going to quit my job, guys. I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to take time off, and I'm going to travel around. Sorry, the road's a little bumpy here. Now, right now I do a lot of traveling as a truck driver, but I don't get to see anything or do anything or see anybody. Something that I've mentioned briefly is that I'm a member of this fraternal organization. And, that's something that I've been doing for nearly 30 years. And I have people that I know all across the country that many of them would really enjoy seeing me. And I am able to do lectures on topics at their lodges and stuff like that they would be happy to see, that I might even be able to make a little bit of money off of, donations or whatnot. And I want to travel and see the country in a way that I've not been able to. I want to be able to go, to Oregon, hang out with my people in Portland, and, hang around that city for a week or two, I want to go to New Orleans and see my people there, and spend some time in New Orleans. There's lots of places that I want to go and things that I want to do. And if I spend a year doing that, I'll feel pretty good about coming to work, back to driving a truck for a year to save up again. And it seems really appealing to me. At that time, after I do that year, or if I make it a year, maybe I'll make it a little more than a year. Like, I don't technically have to come back to work for a year and a half, because as a truck driver, you have to have 6 months experience in the past 2 years in order to get your insurance, basically. You know what I mean? So a year and a half, I would still have 6 months of experience backlog, so that an insurance company would carry me without having to take a refresher course or some shit. So that's what I'm thinking about. You know, I mean, it's been on my mind just pretty much nonstop for the last year, and you know, it took me a while to really hone in on how I wanted to accomplish it, how I was going to end up taking some time off. Initially, I wanted to figure out a way to just stop driving a truck, but now, you know, it's more realistic for me to kind of do off, year off, something like that. And, you know, if I don't like it, or I don't want to do it again after that first year, I don't have to, you know. These built out vans sell for so much. Like, once I get all this solar on it, like, this thing's going to have more solar than any other people out there. Like, you watch these YouTube channels and they've got like 200 or 300 watts of solar on the top of the van and stuff like that, and so they're doing most of their stuff on propane. Well, I'm planning on putting at least 900 watts, and I'm gonna be pushing for 1800. I'm gonna be pushing. I want to get as close to 2000 watts as I can get, and a big battery bank that's way bigger than these other van lifers, so that you know, I can do the things that I want to do and be super comfortable. And I've priced it all out and figured it all out, and you know, I'm just ready now to get to the stage where I actually buy a van and start getting the work done on it, and then it'll just be a matter of building it out. And really, you can build out the inside cheap and easy, and I'm good at building stuff. It's the solar that is the main expense when it comes to the build out itself, not building the van, but I mean, not like getting the van and getting an engine put in and stuff like that, but the actual build out on the inside of the van. The solar is the expensive part if you do it the way I'm doing it. And it's going to be amazing when it's done. It's going to be amazing. People are not going to believe how much solar I'm going to have on the top of that van, and how sufficient the electrical situation is going to be. I'm going to be using microwave, air conditioner, electric coffee makers, you know, everything electric, more or less. And it's going to be a fun ride, all right? And, you know, as it starts to manifest, and especially once I get on the road, there's going to be like some more some videos that are edited a lot better, and you know, I'd like to get a drone and do some fancy videos with music and all that kind of stuff. I do have the capability to do that, so that's part of it as well, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope all you guys will continue to stay here and follow the journey. Maybe if you know some people who are into van life type topics, maybe, you know, invite them to this channel. If not, that's fine. I assume that, here's what I assume. On YouTube, people love to watch the videos of people building out their vans and touring their vans. So once I get the van and I'm able to start the build out and start posting content of that, I feel like that's when people will start finding the channel, you know, van lifers and stuff. For now, I'm just gonna keep vlogging as I save, as the plan evolves, as I make decisions about what I'm gonna do, and hopefully it's entertaining to you guys. And I'm looking forward to getting on with the next portion of this journey into older age, and I hope you guys will stick around and stick with me for it. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Leave your thoughts down below. Comment below the video, and I appreciate you guys being here.